Hey everybody, Andy from StarWars.com here again at Lucasfilm headquarters. This week we saw Ezra develop a deeper connection with the Force in the call, and now I'm going to answer all your questions. So reach your hand out, try to connect with me. This is Rebels Recon. In desperate need of fuel, the rebels head to a distant refinery, only to encounter a herd of strange creatures along the way.
These creatures are amazing. Who would want to shoot them?
However, while following the Purrgil, the crew is ambushed by mining guild ties from the refinery they're looking for.
You think you can track where they came from?
Maybe. Give me a minute.
After a daring arrival on the refinery floor, Ezra connects with the Purrgil, who then assists the crew with their mission while revealing a little secret of their own.
It is true. They can travel through hyperspace.
This week, we saw just how powerful Ezra's connectivity to living creatures is. I sat down with the crew to talk about his abilities, the advent of hyperspace travel, and the mining guild. Check it out.
The Call is a pretty unique episode. Can you walk us through its initial inception?
This episode was really about showing how Ezra is continuing to broaden his abilities with the Force and how he can commune with other living creatures.
This really stems from the statements that we've been making regarding Ezra's connectivity to nature, and that point where he can understand something to a greater degree than even Kanan. And the other thing that it helped add, it added a degree of extra ancient mythology to Star Wars. What if this is how the hyperdrive was invented?
I began to think that what if the first hyperspace travel wasn't technological, but that it was, nature, and that there were creatures that people could witness that would jump to hyperspace.
Ezra's natural ability to connect with other living creatures is really exhibited in this episode. Is this a skill that he's been honing deliberately, or is it just something that happens naturally?
I think it's something that happens naturally, but his ability is growing. He's becoming more sensitive to the Force and how he can use it. So it's kind of an ongoing journey for him.
I don't know how much he could really practice it. I think he's aware of it and it's a gift, but we haven't overplayed it. You don't want to get into this area where it's a superpower. I've never been into that aspect of it for Star Wars.
The Mining Guild is briefly mentioned in The Empire Strikes Back and shown again in the novel A New Dawn. Can you provide more details about what exactly they do?
We've had these corporate guilds in Clone Wars and in Episode 2, and just these vast organizations that help manage the commerce and resources of the galaxy. There's this notion that a lot of them were absorbed or wiped out by the Empire with the rise of the Empire, but the fact that the Mining Guild is specifically mentioned in Empire makes us know that that didn't happen.
The Mining Guild's TIE fighters are awesome. Do they function any differently than the Imperial TIEs?
The great thing about the Mining Guild TIE fighters is they have a notch cut in the stabilizers. So actually they have fantastic visibility. So you can actually see somebody coming at you from the side. Problem is because you've cut off this piece of stabilizer, they're terrible at combat. So they're great if you're going to basically be going in a straight line and shooting at something right in front of you, but if you're actually trying to hold it steady and hit something, their stabilizers are weak.
Hey Tom, is this your Valentine? You're right, man, she's really cute. You guys have fun. After weeks of trying to escape, the Lucasfilm Story Group's Pablo Hidalgo has finally learned that I will find him to answer your Star Wars questions. So this week, I ambushed him in the office and not only asked one, but two questions. Roll it. I'm starting to break this guy. Hey Pablo.
Andy, good to see you.
Good to see you, welcome back.
Thank you.
So since you've been gone, we have two questions for you today.
Okay, let's have it.
Okay, the first one. Eduardo Villadao asks, we saw the crew near a black hole, so are we going to see time dilation suffered by them?
You're getting science into our Star Wars, which is always kind of a weird thing. We don't know for sure whether or not the Star Wars galaxy experiences physics or time the same way our galaxy does. In Star Wars, there's like simultaneity, it's called. They have objective time. That is, someone on Tatooine can experience a Tuesday, and someone on Coruscant is experiencing that exact same Tuesday, can pick up the phone and call them. That doesn't happen in our galaxy because of relativity. The rules are different, so who knows what happens when you fly close to a star cluster like that.
And our next question. Double Sith asks, so what exactly is the difference between wild space and the unknown regions?
The unknown regions are an area of the galaxy where the borders are known, but it hasn't really been explored. So think of it as like a dark jungle that no one's ever gone into, whereas wild space is more like off the edge of the map where no one knows what's on the other side.
Very cool. Thanks, Pablo.
No problem.
Got questions about the call or anything else about Star Wars Rebels? Tweet it to @StarWars using the hashtag RebelsRecon and we'll answer what we can online. Now, as your gift for making it this far, I have an exclusive preview of our next episode, Homecoming.
At best, our squadron is at half strength. We're not just losing fighters, we're losing pilots faster than we can replace them.
Until we can find a base, we need somewhere to land our fighters.
Perhaps we can solve two problems at once. A rebel cell has reported an Imperial carrier over their world. If we can steal that ship, we can use it to house all our fighters. This cell is located in the Ryloth system.
Ryloth? I know the cell you're talking about. I'll contact them.
You're actually gonna talk to him?
I don't think we have much choice. We need that carrier.
Thanks for watching Rebels Recon. As per usual, we'll be back next week with another brand new episode. If you want to know more about the call, check out our episode guide on StarWars.com, and if you're feeling saucy, download our app while you're there. See you next week.